Santa Clarita and everyone streaming in from around the world. You are listening to a special broadcast today called Grief and Loss. I'm Sharon Brubaker. I'm a certified grief recovery specialist, and I'm the owner of A Time to Grieve. I want to thank you to everyone who's listening in today. I am solo today as my co-host and my hero, Alex Urbina, is on vacation with his beautiful family, and I want to send him a lot of love. Let him know we're missing him. We are Facebook Live today. Please, if you are watching on Facebook Live, please give us some love. If you have any questions, I'm going to do my best to try and answer those questions today. So post them in the Facebook Live, and we'll try and get them answered while we are here on the show. Very excited. If what we're telling you is hitting your heart and your heart's absolutely broken, give me a heart emoji, and I'll try and send you some more information. That would be really cool. Before we get started and I introduce my guest today, I have a little something I'd like to share with you. If you're listening to this broadcast, there's a high probability that your heart is broken. It may be caused by a death, either recent or long ago, or it could be caused by a divorce or breakup of a romantic relationship. It could be caused by an awareness that your life is just not as happy or fulfilling as you want it to be. Regardless of the cause of your broken heart, you know how it feels, and it probably isn't good. I'm not going to tell you how you feel because you already know. At best, I can tell you, I know what it felt like when my broken heart occurred, and that was not good. As grief recovery specialists, we know that there are over 40 losses that a person can experience during a lifetime. As I said, death and divorce are the most popular. But we also know that retirement, financial changes, moving, especially moving a lot as a child, can affect a person in their heart. We also know that it can cause lifelong negative impact for our capacity for happiness, right? But we're going to be talking about one of those losses today, one of the 40 losses that we know, and that is pet loss. And in-house with me today, I have some special guests, and that is Payton Jones.
Hi, guys.
And Rachelle Jones.
Hi.
I want to also let you know that Rachelle is a grief recovery specialist as well. But Payton is going to be sharing with us his special story of his relationship with a special house guest that he had for many years, and that's Sampson, your dog, right?
Yep.
How old are you, Payton?
I'm 12 years old.
12 years old. I'm so happy to have you here. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your relationship with Sampson, when you got him, what it was like living with him, what it was like having him in the house?
Well, he was really gentle, and he was very kid-friendly, and I just remember him kind of messing with my parents a lot. It was pretty funny, and I'll definitely remember that from him. And yeah, he was just a great, awesome, loving, gentle little dog. Yeah, it was awesome.
Hey, Payton, what kind of dog was he?
Was he a lab mix or
He was
something?
a lab and Rottweiler mix.
Yeah.
He was a that was a big dog.
He was huge.
He was huge. And what kind of games and stuff did you guys play together?
We just kind of, he would like lick me a lot. It was kind of weird. He'd lick me clean like a little, like he'd wash me. It was kind of funny. And we would sometimes just chase squirrels and play frisbee and stuff, and it was fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. So Mom tells me that you guys got him before you were born, correct, Rachelle?
Yeah, we had him he lived to be 15, Peyton's 12, so we had him 3 or 4 years before Peyton was born. He was our first child. We had him the day he turned 8 weeks old. We picked him up. I carried him in one of those front packs that you carry babies in.
You carried your dog in a front pack?
I sure did. He was my first child.
It was your first
I would
child.
buy shoes for him and raincoats. We lived up north. It was rainy, and took a lot of time to exercise and play with him, train him, you name it. Yeah.
So he was a part of the family
He was.
from day one.
Until I had kids, and
Yeah, we kind of had to ignore him a little bit.
he
honestly.
just didn't get as much attention.
Yeah.
He went from number 1 child to number 2 child.
Number 2
and then
child.
number 3 child. So.
Right. Where did he sleep?
Outside. Yep.
Yeah.
No dogs inside. No hair inside. Yeah.
Sounds like a mom role.
I know.
She's a good mama. So, Payton, you would say that Sampson was definitely a companion of the family, right?
Yeah.
Was he like a friend, sort of?
Yeah, he was gentle and loving, and yeah.
I hear, Rachelle, that one of the things that people describe with their pets is that it's like a friend that doesn't argue back. They're always there for you. They're happy to see you, right? These are some of the descriptions people describe with their pets. Is that something you experienced?
Absolutely. Gosh, my husband would say, sounds like the perfect wife. But he was always loyal. And I got to say, I felt terrible once I had kids and he wasn't the top child anymore, but he still loved. He was still always eager and happy and wanted to be with you and play. And
so there came a time where Sampson got older.
for sure.
And then he started to get sick, right?
Yeah.
And then you and Wes had to make some decisions about him.
Yeah.
So tell me what that was like.
Well, the old guy, we always thought he was going to die. For years, we thought, oh my gosh, it's coming. And we would prepare the kids. And we kind of went through this for a while. And he would get really sick. And I would make those special meals of eggs and chicken for him, and rice, and try to nurse him back to health. And then he'd be healthy again. But he had bad hips. So always we were thinking, okay, guys, I think he's in a lot of pain. And we were always preparing, kept having tumors pop up. But eventually it came to that part. And I think we were, in a way, kind of protected because he had maybe a stroke or something. And he couldn't walk all of a sudden. So kind of the decision was taken from us. We didn't have to, okay, he's getting old. What do we do? It was more of, oh my gosh, he's not well. We've got to get him in. We need help.
Right.
It was more like that.
And that was a family decision or just something that you and Wes decided?
Well, we all had to.
Right.
Yeah, he couldn't walk. He kept sort of twisting, doing this somersault thing. It was very strange and so sad to watch.
It was like a dog when they run on the slippery floor and their hips slide.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
poor
like that,
guy.
but just when he stood up.
Yeah, it was really sad. And so we took time to let everyone come together and say their goodbyes. We, final pictures, just little things to kind
beautiful.
of remember the moment. And then we had to take him into the vet. We had a great vet. And the whole clinic was just so thoughtful and patient. It was closing hours. It was December. It was right next to Christmas. And they brought us in and gave us a lot of time with him. And
that's amazing.
yeah, really examined him. Just did a wonderful job.
So, Rachelle, I'm not sure how you treated it when you got home. I know you and I have had some discussions, but then you got home and you tried to go back to your normal life. And then one day you decided you saw something wasn't right here, especially with Payton.
Yeah.
Yeah? What was that like?
You know what I noticed is that Payton would bring him up sometimes because I had learned from you early on. What do I do? I had learned early on to talk about the dog and do different things, but still I noticed that Payton especially would bring him up maybe at dinner or at different times and he would cry. He would talk about memories and he would just be so brokenhearted and he would cry wherever we were. And so I thought, oh my gosh, this isn't resolved for him. It's still really hurting him.
Right. Yeah, I remember having a conversation with you about that. What was that like for you, Payton? Do you think you could share that? When you would remember him and you would share with Mom and your heart would be broken?
I just remember being really, really sad.
Yeah.
Just a lot. And whenever I thought about him, I just thought about really down, blue feeling.
How are you doing, Rachelle?
About my Sam?
Yeah.
You know what? At first, I was really sad. But honestly, a lot of my sadness came because I wasn't the mom I wish I would have been for him there at the end. That was really hard.
Yeah, that is
for me.
hard.
I had to come to terms with I wasn't the greatest person. I had to be able to tell the truth about that instead of wishing that no one noticed. It was real, and I wasn't the nicest mom.
I'm saying yes in agreement because I had that experience for myself with the dog in the past that I really wished I had have done things different for. We always can look back on that and see things that we wish we had done better, different, or more, right?
For sure, yeah.
So what about things that people said to you as you were trying to figure out how to help your son? Was there any comments that were made? Do you remember any comments that were made?
Well, there's always that, oh, he'll be fine, or just give it time. Well, how much time?
Yeah.
It was almost a year later, and
Right.
still Payton would have these moments, these really tearful episodes. So I'm thinking, well, how much time do I give this? I was really confused
Right.
about that. I didn't hear well, you just got to go get a new one, or just get a puppy for the kids for Christmas, because they knew I wasn't the best mom with dogs at that time with my 2 kids and the way our life was. So I didn't hear that one,
And she
because
didn't want
people
the
knew
hair.
better.
She did not want the hair.
I didn't want the hair.
She's going to
That's
tell her
the
your
truth.
business. Thank you,
Which
Payton.
is okay. Tell all of it. son.
This
It's fine.
Christmas, I was like, "Hey, Mom, can we get a dog? No hair."
I said enough
Right.
for all of us.
I tell this story a lot in my grief recovery class, and that I didn't know not to replace the loss. I never knew that. And prior to grief recovery, I didn't know that. And so when Brittany, my daughter, was about she was about 12 years old, her dog passed away. And she started waking up in the middle of the night, and she was actually crying a lot. And so I said to my husband one day, I said, I know what it is. We need to get her a new dog. We need to help her feel better.
Yeah.
So we went out and we bought a very expensive Jack Russell Terrier puppy that I share quite often. And we got Jackie. And to this day, I can honestly say that Brittany has never been the same with pets. She lost her Chihuahua, Louise, and she's never been the same with pets. And I just didn't know. And so I did what we teach not to do now. And I absolutely replaced the loss, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that happens as society is that a lot of times society will tell us to replace loss.
sure.
You have to feel better.
Yeah.
Go out and buy a new puppy. How did you know not to do that? How did you know in your gut?
That's a really great question. I probably more for selfish reasons, although I had been through grief recovery up to that point, but I don't even know if my grief recovery class, the things that I had learned from you, were up to that point. I think it was more of, no way, nuh-uh, I'm not going into that again. I think it was more of that for me, so more selfish reasons. But other than that, I think it was, self-preservation at that point. Our life was crazy. So up to that moment, it was really just selfish reasons. But I'd heard those things. And also as a kid, we had new dogs more than I can think of. I would go to school and come home, and my dog would be from the vet, or, taken back to the vet, or even put to sleep if it was ill, and I wouldn't know. I would just come home and there would be no dog. And so I had always thought, I'm never going to be that type of person. So when I kind of started to push the dog back and bring the kids forward,
Right.
that was hurting me from old things. And so I just knew that I can't allow myself to be in that position ever again. So it was kind of a lot of things, a lot of reasons I didn't.
I also know that and I want to say this statement to everyone that's listening, we never tell someone when they have a loss in their family to get a new one.
No.
I would have never thought to tell Erica, right, to replace the
No.
loss. But yet people think it's okay to say that when it's a pet.
Yeah.
We have to, as society and as friends close around other ones that have actually had a pet loss, we need to love them.
For sure.
We have to love them through it. And some of the things that we can do is just not say anything, but just listen, right?
Yes.
Listen
totally.
to what they're going through. Listen to their broken heart. Because I think what happens with a lot of people when they do have a pet loss is that they don't know where to go for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know a safe place, right? Mm-hmm. You guys were so lucky you had each other to depend on, right? And you had Mom,
And I
which
had
was
you.
really cool. Yeah.
I was calling you.
Which is really cool. When we have resources, but when people don't have resources or they don't feel like it's okay to talk.
Yeah.
I can actually say that I can remember telling someone, well, it was just a dog, but that was like the worst thing possible to say to someone.
Yeah.
When it's actually a love for them, right?
Right.
When they're absolutely in love with that person. I want to talk a little bit about the process that you went through to help Payton complete his relationship with Sampson. And I understand that you've also completed your relationship with Sampson, correct?
Yes.
That was something that you decided later on that you should absolutely do.
Yeah.
So walk me through the process of, starting through what were some of the things that, Payton, let's go with you. What were some of the things that Mom did that absolutely helped you?
Pretty much one of the big things was to like say goodbye, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, Sampson, I'm going to miss you. Goodbye. And when I said that, like, it brought up a lot of tears. But after the end of the whole entire session of the process and whatever and all that stuff, I noticed that I was able to accept it a little bit easier and talk about it more.
Mm-hmm.
I still sometimes cry about it. But yeah, it really helped me to learn to accept it, and yeah.
And to be able to say the things that you needed to say to Sampson, right? And to really review your relationship.
Yeah.
So Mom walked you through those steps, step
Yeah.
by step. I remember you telling me a part, Rachelle, where it was pretty hard for him. He didn't actually want to go through it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you had to love him up through it.
Oh my goodness. It was a big deal. You had offered that class, so I went through this class and I sold it to him with, "Hey buddy, can you help me? Can you help me with this class? It's my homework."
Yeah.
And
Liar.
but it was true. It was actually true. And he wanted to, there's a process of how to do it. And I was talking with Payton, okay, well, buddy, can you help me with this part? And we got through the survey, the sort of question, the thing that goes with it. And then toward the end, there's a very specific type of letter
Right.
that we had to go through. And he wanted to just keep doing each step. He didn't want to take breaks in between, and so we plowed through. But come the end, like you say, where there was a goodbye that we have to write at the end.
Right.
And the whole process itself was really beautiful. He would laugh, and as we were going through memories together, we would laugh, we would cry, we'd be sad, we'd be happy. It was all kinds of things, even kind of mad. He was kind of frustrated because he was able to see, hey, my mom wasn't the best mom to my dog. And I think the beauty of it was, for myself, having been through your class initially, I was okay with his truth. It wasn't like, hey, let me defend myself
Right.
here. I was able to just let him tell the truth, which I think was huge. And then, like I say, when we finally got to that goodbye, Sharon, he cried and cried. He sobbed. He had to get up and come back. And, Mom, I just can't do it. And then he finally got to the point of writing that goodbye.
Right.
But gosh, that was so hard for me as a mom.
Right.
To watch him and to be still and let him feel his process as he was going through. It was painful. But the rewards of moving through that moment, allowing us to sit in that pain and move through, were huge.
Right.
Huge. So even on the way here, we were talking about that. He says, Mom, I think I was always fine. And I had to remind him, buddy, do you remember the work that we did? And he remembered, oh yeah, the goodbye and all of those kinds of things. So I think everyone is fine to talk about feelings. No, buddy, we had to really work on that.
Yeah.
He's just so used to, we talk about feelings at our house, so.
It makes it a little different, right?
Yeah.
It was like
Now.
like some gruesome cross training or something, but like with your feelings, it was hard.
You are a character. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. So, after you did the work with Sampson,
Yes.
I want to tell the story about you guys went to the movie theater
Yes.
and you went to see a movie. And so, what was the name of that movie that you guys saw?
A pet's purpose?
Dog's
A dog's
Purpose.
purpose?
A Dog's Purpose.
Yes.
The whole time, everyone just died. Like that was the whole movie. Like all the dogs just died. That's like the whole
I
entire
can
movie.
see your mom's a really great mom. So, tell me, Rachelle, tell me about that experience.
Well, I thought I was doing something great. Hey, kids, let's go to the Dollar Theater.
Right.
And we went to Pet's Purpose, our dog's purpose, and he cried a lot during the movie. And immediately I thought, oh no, I've made a horrible mistake, because he was so crying. And I'm thinking, oh no, it's bringing up the dog. Something didn't work. I messed up. And at the end, he says, man, that movie, I really cried at that movie. I've never cried like that before. And I said, I know, buddy. Were you thinking about Sampson? And he said, what? No. I was just crying because it was a sad movie. And I was, okay, we did it. We found something good.
And what did you realize at that moment?
He was okay.
That he was okay.
He wasn't sitting there brokenhearted over a reminder. He was sitting there able to be in that moment about the movie,
Right.
instead of his moment about his dog.
And he was complete with his dog.
He was complete.
And that movie didn't bring up unresolved issues in his heart, right?
No.
Broken areas in his heart.
Yeah.
He was really resolved.
He was complete.
And I remember that you were so excited when you came back from the movie.
I was dying.
Yeah.
I was dying. When he said that, what? Nah! I was laughing so hard. I was rejoicing the whole bit. I couldn't believe how awesome that whole experience was, that my kid is truly able to sit here and feel better about losing his best friend.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Thank you so much for sharing that story. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, Rachelle, you and I are going to dig in a little bit deeper into When Children Grieve, the program about When Children Grieve, and how we can help children through their loss and broken hearts, as well as helping others who are grieving the loss of a pet.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
The Las Vegas shooting created awareness for all of us. Awareness to upgrade security at concerts. Awareness for clearly marked exit signs. Awareness on how to evacuate safely. And awareness to have tighter hotel security. The law offices of Owen Patterson Owen are working diligently with Las Vegas victims to prevent future tragedies from occurring, as well as protecting the rights of Las Vegas victims to receive financial assistance for their ordeal. If you know someone impacted by the shooting, visit opolaw.com. That's opolaw.com.
Why do people from all over Santa Clarita come to our spa in Canyon Country? Simple. They want the highest quality services at prices that everyone can afford. This is Rosemary from Beyond Harmony Med Spa. Read our reviews and know why we won the Ultimate Beauty Awards 2 years in a row by the readers of Elite Magazine. Come and see how close we really are and experience the level of excellence that our clients have loved for the past 13 years. Go to beyondharmony.com or call 298-8008 today for a free consultation.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Your hometown station.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening, Santa Clarita Valley. Sharon Brubaker here, Certified Grief Recovery Specialist. And in-house, I have some very special guests with me. I have Payton Jones, 12 years old, and I have Rachelle Jones. I'm not going to tell your age. And we're discussing pet loss today. One of the known losses we know that a person can experience over a lifetime that can absolutely keep you emotionally incomplete in your heart and keep your heart absolutely broken. Payton was sharing us a story about his dog Sampson and how much he loved him. But most importantly, Mom was telling us how she helped Payton grieve that loss and walk the steps of grief, which is so amazing. And I really thank you guys both for being here and sharing that story.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to talk a little bit today. I shared this story. I met Rachelle Jones 2 years ago. She came into my office after the loss of her father, and she knew that she was incomplete and had some work to do, and we did grief recovery together.
Yes.
And then about a year later, you joined me back for another program called When Children Grieve.
Yep.
And it was at that program that you realized that Payton may need some help with the loss of his dog, Sampson.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it was kind of that process that led you to become a grief recovery specialist.
Yes, that was pretty big. For some reason, I knew the first time I talked with you, this is really big stuff. People need help with this, because I knew I needed help with it, and I never heard it before.
Right.
So it had to be something huge. But that was a really big defining moment to propel me into becoming a specialist, definitely.
Yeah. And hey, guys, just a quick reminder, we are Facebook Live. Please give us some love on that Facebook Live, and feel free to put in any questions that you may have, and we'll try and get those answered here today. Rachelle and I are going to talk a little bit about When Children Grieve, which is one of the areas that Rachelle has chosen to specialize in, which I think is so cool, right?
Thank you.
So we know for a fact, Rachelle, that children are not taught how to grieve, right?
I wasn't.
Yeah, and then you experienced that with your son. Give me a little bit about that experience for you.
About my son? Helping my son? Well, I had said all the things that I wasn't supposed to say. I always said, well, give it time.
Right.
I learned in my class with you, the very first one after my dad had died, that I would say things like, if you're going to act that way, you go to your room. Or, just different things to send them away in their moment of grief. I was sending them away to do it on their own. And not only that was I sending them away to do it on their own, I was sending them to do something that I didn't even know how to do. I didn't even know how to feel properly.
That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's so huge.
Awful.
And pet loss is usually the first experience that a child will have with an absolute loss in their family, right, Payton? And you remember what that felt like. You shared a little bit of that for us.
Yeah.
Did any of your friends ever give you any advice?
Good question.
It was a long, long time ago. I'm not completely...
You don't remember any?
I think they tried to comfort me, but I don't think they gave me any advice.
You know what I do remember? I do remember you had a friend who... he came and gave you a big hug, remember?
Yeah. A lot of friends comforted me.
Yeah, I
cried.
That was beautiful.
I don't remember who that was, but I kind of remember that a little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I do remember who that was.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because it's not uncommon for other children to also do what they've seen their parents do, which is, dude, just get another dog. Or it was just a dog. How could you be crying about this dog?
Yeah.
Some of the things that you teach in your When Children Grieve class, that we both teach in our class of When Children Grieve, is when helping children, right, go through a loss, it's very important for us to go first.
For sure.
So we need to go first, and we need to tell the truth. And we need to tell the truth about ourselves and what we're feeling. So what was some of that like for you and Payton? What was some of your truths with Sampson?
Well, you know what? He was a barker there at the end of...
Gosh.
He was, right?
Oh, my.
It was pretty customary to come into our parking lot driveway type thing and to expect to hear him, and also to feel that drop in my gut of, oh no, how long has he been barking type of feeling. Are the neighbors calling the cops? What is happening? So when I would drive in, I would feel that drop in my stomach, and then I would quickly realize, oh, but he's not there anymore. And then there was a double drop in my stomach because the dog had died. And so then I would just say, gosh, guys, I'm really missing Sampson today. But I don't miss his barking, because for me, that was also the truth.
Right.
It wasn't just the sad, happy, joyful stuff. It was also, no, he drove me nuts with his barking.
He did his absolute best to get my mom angry. Dig through the trash can, you name it.
And that's also really important. Some of the areas that I'm glad you shared that, Payton, because some of the areas we're incomplete with are the areas that we didn't like about what our dog would do, right?
Yeah.
So you could literally say that, I really miss Sampson, but I absolutely didn't miss his barking. That was your truth.
Right, right.
Then when you shared the stories with your kids, the next thing you did was just close your mouth.
Be quiet.
Be quiet and wait for them to respond and share their truth.
Yeah.
Because you're actually teaching them how to share their truth to you.
Right.
And how did that work?
Well, you know what? Because I had been so buried into not talking about feelings. That's what I knew for all of my life. So it took some work. It took me doing that on a regular basis, sharing my truth, sharing different thoughts or feelings I would have, and being quiet. So not
Right.
saying it with an expectation that they were going to talk back to me, but saying them on a regular basis. And then they learned that they were allowed to talk about feelings too. So it took some time. It wasn't like I said something and then they would immediately meet me back. Eventually they did, though. They started to talk. And Payton, goodness, he's talking about feelings all the time. He has no problems talking about feelings, happy, sad, feeling sad about friends, you name it.
That's cool.
It's created an entirely safe space.
So just so I recap. So you went first.
I went first.
You told your truth.
Yes.
You told the truth about how you were feeling. But then you also attached emotions to how you were feeling.
Yes, very important.
That's so important, is you have to attach the emotions to that. So you would say, I feel sad.
Yeah.
Or I miss Sampson.
Yeah.
Or my heart is really breaking for Sampson.
I remember that.
You
I
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That's weird. Yeah.
Did that make you want to tell your story about Sampson? Or did it make it comfortable for you to talk about Sampson
Yeah,
then?
it kind of made me feel like I could talk about it a little bit better, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, she feels that way a little bit too, so.
So it made you maybe helped you feel not alone?
Yeah, like you could share your feelings and then I could share mine, and it just helped me be more comfortable about sharing my feelings.
Good job, buddy. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. That makes me feel great. I feel great about that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the second part of that is we talk about a heart with ears. So if everyone could listen, the next thing that we do is we become a heart with ears. So if you imagine a big giant heart with ears and you're just loving them through it, right? And listening, then you just listened to him, right?
Yeah.
With no comment,
judgment.
No judgment, no comments. You didn't say anything. You didn't correct what he was saying, right?
Definitely not. Definitely
Share
not.
a little bit more of that.
That's something I learned from you early on is unasked for advice is criticism in disguise. And so I was really careful to not criticize him by giving advice or direction in a way that he wasn't asking. Even if he asked me a question, I would kind of acknowledge it, but respond with a question because I didn't want to give him advice if that wasn't really what he was looking for.
Exactly.
So I was really careful to just listen to him and maybe ask him another feeling question because I wanted to understand what he was feeling.
Right.
So if he was saying, gosh, I feel sad about Sampson, then I wanted to know, is he just feeling sad about Sampson? Is there a specific memory? Buddy, are you thinking of something specific or just that he's not here anymore? Just different questions to help understand, well, what is he sad about in this moment? Because maybe it was when they took a walk in a park. I can't just assume I know what he's talking about. So it was to ask questions, but then to listen. What he had to say.
That's really cool. Now, keeping in mind that everyone's grief is unique and individual.
Yes, ma'am.
You also have 2 children.
Yes.
So you had another child that was going through this at the same time.
Yes.
And how was her approach to it? Tell me a little bit about Danny.
She's a little bit more difficult. She took what her mom taught her and became an expert at age 6. So she's really, really hard she's very difficult to pull out, to draw out. And so I have to work a little bit more hard with her to draw her out, to get her to talk about different things. So usually Payton and I will go back and forth talking about a memory, sharing a memory. And with her, it takes a little bit more work.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it has to do with her age?
Possibly. She was young. What was she, 6, I think?
Yeah.
She has a machine gun of words, let me tell you that.
She does?
Stop it!
Spicy.
Yeah, feisty. Yeah.
Oh. So she was a little bit different. So you had to approach
She's
each
totally
one of them
different.
different, but you use the same tools for them.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So you would have moments with Danny alone, and you would be talking about Sampson, and so that you guys just to see where she was. She didn't react the same way to Sampson as Payton.
Right. They're 2 different kids, 2 different people. My husband, myself, my son, and my daughter, we all had different feelings, relationships with Sampson. And so we all had different responses to him being gone.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then you also had to be patient.
Very.
You had to be patient because you didn't get the information you wanted right away.
No.
And they weren't responding right away. And so, but you stuck to those rules.
Yes.
You kept doing them day in and day out. Yeah.
The tools they're perfect in what they are. They don't need changing. They just need me to be patient.
Right.
Which is always the problem. Can I be patient enough to see this through?
Yes.
And when I was, there were amazing gifts on the other side. Where my kids were able to, they talk about Sampson. They talk about, do you remember that time? We can share memories. You know, that dog, he was a piece of work. He had no hips. I don't even know how he walked. But yet, if he saw a squirrel, and we would latch him up to the wagon thinking he's okay. You know, he's not strong enough anymore. But he saw a squirrel. He could pull the full wagon and chase that squirrel with no hips. So we're able to talk about those things.
Right.
Remember him, share about him, talk about the good things, the annoying things, whatever. And like you said, I just have to be patient, and they'll meet me eventually.
Now, you and I right now have combined 2 programs. We're talking about pet loss, which is a book. We have a handbook for pet loss.
Yes.
And that is a program that you and I actually run. It's a class that people can take. But we've combined with that how to help your child through a pet loss.
Yes.
But a lot of these very same tips that we just gave could be used for someone who does have a pet loss. If we're just a friend or a companion nearby, really, they could use these same tips to help their friend that has just suffered a loss. Wouldn't you say?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
Listen to them. You need to listen with a heart, with ears. Allow them to talk. Allow them to share their truth, right?
Yeah.
And talk about their dog or their cat or their bird or their squirrel or whatever it is, right? We have different types of pets everywhere that people fall in love with.
Yeah.
The gamut, right? And they need to be able to be heard. I think that is such great advice. We were going to talk about a little bit about things not to do.
Yes.
Those are equally as important, don't you think?
Yes. You have to know both sides.
We definitely have to know both sides. Did you ever tell Payton not to feel this way?
No, and that is only because I had been through your class before. I came to you, my dad died in October, and our dog died in December. So I was pretty fresh. I was in the class when I asked you, what do I do? So I knew things not to say.
Right.
But I didn't have a whole lot of tools at that point, so I would just kind of sit quietly. But I knew not to say a lot of things, which was really helpful.
One of the things I think that people say is not that they don't say, I don't think the word is don't feel bad, or they say to children, oh, don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't feel that way, or you shouldn't still be crying about that. So I want to get all those out because there's a lot of them that actually come out that people will actually tell their children thinking they're being helpful.
Right.
Right?
Well, just think about it. If you had a broken leg and I said, Sharon, you just gotta stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Is that going to help you?
Yeah.
No way.
No way.
And it's the same when you're hurting over a lost reptile, a dog, whatever it is. I can't tell you not to feel what you're feeling.
Don't feel sad.
Yeah.
Don't feel that way.
Oh, don't feel sad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not helpful.
No.
It's not helpful to the person.
It's stunting, I think, because I am feeling bad and you're telling me not to feel it. So what that says to me, what I think that would say to my child, if he's feeling bad and I tell him not to feel that way, all I've told him is, don't tell me when you're feeling sad. Well, now he's isolated with his feelings.
Exactly.
That's a scary place to be.
Exactly.
And I must definitely say, though, that after this process, I can really easily open my feelings about however I feel about every day and whatever has happened. So, yeah.
That's a big deal.
It really helps.
That's
it
a
really
huge
helps.
deal.
So through your experience, you're saying that through your experience with Sampson and with Mom helping you, she helped you tap into those emotions and she gave you a safe place to talk and share. And now not only through Sampson, but other things that are going on a daily basis, you now have a safe place to talk and share those out.
Right, yeah.
Do you feel comfortable, Payton, sharing these same conversations with people around school, friends, teachers? Do you feel as comfortable?
Not as comfortable, but sometimes I talk about some things, but not as comfortable. Yeah.
I do have a couple of situations, though, where Payton, I know 2 very specific ones where he's had a friend, 2 different friends, hurting, going through different things. One of them was bullying, and another one, actually, I think that one was bullying too. And I have watched Payton sit with his arm around them and ask them how they're feeling and what's going on. And do you know what's helped me? Or he'll say, you know what, talk to my mom. My mom could be really helpful.
Right.
So he may not always know exactly what to say, but I think the fact that he goes for the topic instead of avoiding it shows that he's resolved too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of I've learned from what she's been saying and stuff. I kind of almost mirror it, like, and when they're not feeling well, I'll ask, how do you feel about that? What? Yeah, and just different questions.
Ask him different questions. Yeah. I need to hire you right away. I need to give that kid a job. He was brought up right.
Oh, I'm so grateful.
Let's talk about the one question we should never ask our children. How are you feeling?
Oh, right.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
I can see a lot of people going down that road and asking that question.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get back,
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
It's too pointed.
Right. Which is a non-truth.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. So when you ask them how they're feeling about Sampson or how are you feeling about school today, they don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And so you really are setting them up for sort of failure, correct?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think the 2 are similar. How are you feeling, or are you okay? Well, I can visually see that something's not right. So I'm not going to ask if you're okay because I can see that you're not.
Right.
And also, how are you feeling? It's too pointed. So with my kids, or actually with other people, with everyone, I try not to say, how are you feeling? I try to say something more that leads them in the direction I want to go. Buddy, are you feeling sad today? What are you thinking about?
Right.
Something, and if it's not sad, he'll say, no, I don't really know. And so we just kind of keep going back and forth until we figure out, well, what is he feeling?
Right.
I give examples, are you feeling sad? Well, no, I'm just kind of feeling blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So nothing too pointed because I'm always going to get, I'm fine.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's what they know in their heart and soul.
Yeah.
That's what they know. Or sometimes it's not a safe place. So what they want to share, they don't feel like it's a safe place for them to share it or to actually say it, right? Mm-hmm. And so they give you back the answer of what they think you want, right?
Yeah.
She's definitely told me not to ask, how are you feeling? Like when my sister stubs her toe, I definitely know not to ask that because then I'll get like, no, I'm fine, or like get away from me or something.
Right.
So yeah, that kind of helps too. So that's how I know not to ask.
So you're definitely been learning those tips right along with Mom.
Yeah, I don't know everything, but I'm slowly learning.
Dude, you know a lot. Trust me. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about you as the parent and actions that you're not being so verbal, but let's talk about like going in the room and crying alone, grieving alone. And what is that showing our children and showing our child or our friends and family around us, right?
Yes.
What would that be like if we actually grieved alone all the time and we actually closed the door and didn't allow them in? It's so deep. This is such great information. I love that we're able to mix these 2 topics together. And I am ready whenever you guys are. So we'll be talking about that when we come back from the break.
Thank you, Sharon.
Well, stay there.
Daily Imprints is the premier one-stop shop for custom embroidery, screen printing, and promotional products in the Santa Clarita Valley. Owners Joe and Dana have provided KHTS with quality embroidered company shirts for over 3 years. If it's new business cards or promotional products you need to enhance your image, Daily Imprints is the choice for you. Located on Lyons Avenue, stop by or call today. 661-678-0508.
My favorite restaurant in Santa Clarita? Salt Creek Grill, of course. Great food, neat atmosphere.
For a business lunch or romantic dinner, I always go to Salt Creek.
Hi, I'm Greg Amsler, owner of Salt Creek Grill. We have created Salt Creek to provide you with the most comfortable and inviting restaurant in Santa Clarita. Enjoy fresh mesquite grilled fish, aged steaks, and the best chops imaginable. There's entertainment every Friday and Saturday night, and we have the best Sunday brunch in town. Salt Creek is on Town Center Drive in Valencia.
Drugs or alcohol abuse can tear a family apart. In Santa Clarita, just like everywhere else, it's an epidemic. The Way Out Recovery is here to help. Call them now at 296-4444 or visit them on the web at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. The Way Out offers outpatient treatment for adolescents, adults, and family members. The Way Out is compassionate, caring, professional, and confidential. You and your family don't have to suffer any longer. Call The Way Out Recovery now, 296-4444, or visit thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com and make an appointment. Asking for help is the first step.
Doing right starts right here. At Union Bank, community banking is at the heart of what we do. From giving customers more convenient access to their money to financing their homes here in the neighborhood, Union Bank believes in acting locally. We also believe that investing in local businesses helps everyone. For over 150 years, Union Bank has grown strong, one community at a time. We live here, we do business here, and we're here for you. Stop by your local branch today to experience the strength of community banking. There are 3 Union Bank branches conveniently located in the Santa Clarita and Antelope Valley area. To find your nearest branch, visit unionbank.com. Loan subject to credit and collateral approval. Financing available for collateral located in California, Oregon, and Washington. Fees and restrictions may apply. Terms and conditions subject to change. MUFG Union Bank N.A. member FDIC equal housing lender. Union Bank is a registered trademark and brand name of MUFG Union Bank N.A.
Welcome back, everybody. Sharon Brubaker here. I'm a certified grief recovery specialist, and I have 2 very special guests in-house. I have Payton and Rachelle, and they've both been sharing about pet loss. And we've been having some amazing conversations about when you guys lost your dog and how you helped your son through that process. And then together we've been also having the conversation of how to help your children grieve.
Yes.
So we kind of combined 2 conversations today, which have really been amazing. And so far we've discussed a lot of things that you should do or can do to help your children grieve. And we've also learned that through the process of you helping Payton with Sampson, his dog, he's learned some other tools that he's been able to carry on throughout his life, right?
Yes.
Now we're going to go into some things that we should not do as parents when we're trying to help our children grieve. And one of the things that we were talking about just before the break is grieving alone.
Yeah.
And literally, I see a lot of people do this. I did it myself. I didn't know. I didn't know it was the right thing. I never would cry in front of my children after the loss of Austin because I was trying to be strong.
Yes.
I didn't want them to see me cry because I didn't want them to feel bad.
Yeah.
Even though in actuality they were really feeling bad, right? Their hearts were broken.
Yeah.
So share with me some of the things that you did around the loss of Sampson, that helped your kids to see those true raw emotions.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. The be strong and grieve alone, they're 2 ends of the same coin, aren't they? If we're strong, then we have to be grieving alone so they don't see us. We don't help them be sad, but they are sad, like you said. So I'd always grieved alone. So I stopped doing that.
Right.
If I were going to have emotion, I would stay in the living room or stay wherever I was and let them see the tears, not quickly brush them away in some sort of, frantic swipe. I would let them see the tears and let them say, "Mom, are you okay?" "No, buddy, I'm feeling pretty sad."
Yeah.
I really miss that old man Sampson. Just different things like that. I would let them see me grieving instead of just trying to put on a brave face all the time, because kids are going to learn. I taught them how to walk. I taught them how to talk. Of course, I'm going to teach them how to do emotions.
Exactly.
I have to give them the words and what it looks like.
Payton, how was that for you when you saw Mom actually crying?
I was like, "Oh, dude, she's pretty sad." I was like, I don't know what to do. I was kind of like panicking. I know that sounds silly.
No, that's the truth.
Yeah. I didn't know what to do. I was just like,
Did it make you feel bad in your own heart? Did you feel bad for her? Were you sad because you saw Mom?
Yeah.
That's a normal reaction, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then did it feel comfort, kind of? I wonder how it feels to actually know, okay. This is what we're supposed to do.
Well, I kind of already knew that I was supposed to just cry and just show my feelings.
Right.
So I kind of already felt that comfort, but that would make sense, that's another component to knowing that, you can do that yourself and share your feelings with your parents and stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. That was a really cool tip. One of the other things we try not to do is we try not to compare the children or the people that are going through that, but we try not to compare our losses with their loss, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of tricky sometimes because we've all experienced loss, or if we haven't, we will experience a loss. It's not uncommon for someone who has had a recent loss, for someone, let's say someone's child or mother dies, for someone to come up and start talking about their pet loss. And that can be offensive to the other person. So one of the things that I try to do is say, I know what it felt like when my nephew died. Was that helpful for you? Were you able to not go there with Payton?
Definitely. Like I said, there was a time we had this dog since it was a puppy. After a couple of years, I went to softball practice. It had to be put to sleep. I came home from softball practice and it was gone. I had no idea that was going to happen. So it could have been really easy for me to say, hey, buddy, well, at least you got to say goodbye to your dog. I didn't get to say goodbye to my dog. That would have been terrible. It totally would have shut him down. But so to be able to just share how I was feeling about this dog, let him do the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here and allowing me to combine these two topics. One of the things I want to talk about right now is what recovery feels like. Recovery means to feel better.
Feel better.
Recovery means fond memories will return. And I know you guys have seen us and you're seeing us laugh and have a good time, but this is the absolute proof that fond memories will return to our heart and soul, right? When we grieve properly and we complete a relationship, we're able to laugh about that person or that pet, and we have a good feel in our heart. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Grief is normal and natural reaction to a loss of any kind. I am Sharon Brubaker. I'm a certified grief recovery specialist. You can reach me anytime at SharonBrubaker.com. Also, my phone number is 661-212-0720. I have a pet loss class starting on January 10th. Also, Rachelle, tell people where they can meet you, reach out to you for grief recovery work.
Yes, my website is griefrecoverywithrachelle.com. I have a class starting on January 4th, and also a When Children Grieve specific one on Friday, January 12th at 7:30. My phone number is 661-400-9067. There it is.
Look at you. We need you. We need you for help. Thank you so much for joining us today.